Jamal Shead player comparisons. Brian has a best case and a worst case. So do I. We're going to try and convince each other whose is the better comp. What's the best case player comparison for Jamal Shead?
I found this interesting because we just recorded the scouting report video, which you need to check out. Um, and you said this would be somebody who would be a good mentor for him, and I kind of chuckled a little bit. I think best case, not likely, but best case is Mike Conley, a really good two-way guard who's not going to be like your primary scorer, but somebody who can get his own, somebody who can make plays and be a above average to elite defender. There is a scenario where Jamal Shead becomes that kind of player.
Mm,
Plus with the leadership aspect too.
Okay. I do not hate that at all. Um, I think the debate I'm going to have with you here is it actually likely that he could have a 15-year career that is as sustained as Mike Conley's, or is it more likely that it kind of comes in and out? Because that, like, there's an argument. If Conley gets a ring, like, he could like backdoor a Hall of Fame appearance, possibly. Like, it could
Well,
happen.
he's never made an all-star team.
This is true. This is true.
Conley's never made an all-star team,
This is
right?
true. God, he's been a
And
starter for so long.
yeah, he has. And I don't know if Shed's going to have that longevity. Conley, his game is not necessarily predicated on athleticism. Shed's, I think, shot creation is somewhat. So he'd have to kind of morph his game as he got older. Conley's game was already built to be more of an old man kind of game when he came into the league as a young guy anyway.
Yeah.
It was a different era, different time though, and it's worked out well for him. But from what he brings to the table, I think Shed can bring similar things to the table.
I don't hate it at all. It's rosy, but I think it's
Oh,
fair.
it's very rosy, but I love Jamal Shed.
Yeah, right. I think it's fair. So I wanted to do Rajon Rondo because I wanted to do like toughness,
Yeah.
genius, winner, speed, but Rondo's bigger and ultimately like I don't know. It just seems like a little too level of insane competitive genius for Jamal Shed. So I landed on someone who is more Jamal Shed's size, and it's Devonte Graham. Devonte Graham was on winning teams in college.
Yep.
He was never necessarily like the face of it all, but he was a heart of some of those teams. And in the
Mm-hmm.
NBA, he's had a very up and down career. His rookie season as a 23-year-old, he averaged 4 points a game. His sophomore season, he averaged 18 points and 7.5 assists. Then since then, he's been 14, 11, 7, 5, 13, 5. It's like every year in and out. You don't know which version of Devontae Graham you're getting, which role he's going to play. To me, that's the path. If Jamal Shed hits long term, it's like every other year he's asked to be a starter, and then every other year he's down. I don't know that I believe there's actually a consistent ceiling as high as Conley's versus what Devontae Graham has become.
I think the consistency versus inconsistency is a good debate because I think Shed's opportunity may be inconsistent,
Yeah.
right? And also, like Mike Conley's one of the most consistent careers in NBA history. That's going to be tough to replicate. My
Yeah.
pushback is going to be I think Graham was much more of a shooter and scorer than Shed is, and is fine defensively, but doesn't bring the same kind of defensive acumen or toughness. Like to me, their games are somewhat different.
Do you think Conley does?
Memphis Conley, yes.
Okay. Back in the day. Great and
Yeah,
grinding.
not
Okay.
not 37-year-old Conley who doesn't move as well.
That makes sense. Okay. I'm willing to concede. You can have Conley on that one. Let's do our
All
worst
right.
case comparison. What do you got?
Javon Carter. He's another guy who from the Big 12 was the heart and soul of some really, really good West Virginia teams, largely with his defense. Offensive game had some questions about how it would translate to the NBA. He has stuck around since he entered because of his defense and just his ability to work. And if you know one thing about Jamal Shed is that he's going to bring his defense and his willingness and ability to work.
You're very right there. I concede this. I love that one. I think that's a much better answer than what I landed on, which is a player that just made his debut this season, and I don't know that we're going to see him much in the NBA much longer. I went with Jordan Ford from St. Mary's.
Okay.
I just like he's like old dude that guards and isn't gonna make mistakes, but he's only played 6 games in the NBA. I think that's how low the floor is for Jamal Shead, though. Like I do think there's a world where he just doesn't wow anybody in summer league, can't produce offensively, and becomes a lifelong G leaguer that never gets a real shot in the NBA.
I think I don't know how I think that can happen. I am putting faith in I think the work ethic and the fear factor that Shed brings. I wanted Javon Carter because Javon Carter was last time I heard somebody else who people were like, yeah, no, we're not going to have our prospect go to this workout because Javon Carter's going to be there and he's going to pick my guy's pocket like 5 times. Like that kind of fear factor, I think, keeps you around, even if you're on the end of the bench and don't play. I think it's nice to have that in an emergency.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you destroyed me in these comps. Mike Conley and Javon Carter are the answers for the one and only Jamal Shead. Thanks for watching this video. We got 74 more of these on the channel. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/NBA-mini-games.